he's definitely going to have a harder time in 1v1s when it comes to him versus Symbolic.
And now moving on to Sula de Zapato here, taking a look at his stuff here. Seven runes of Divinity, Great Sword, as well as Sword Pistol, that Berserker's Amulet, and the traits 2020 025 5. Interesting build here. I think we saw this earlier today too in the Chinese tournament we were doing earlier. Something like this.
Well, earlier they actually opted to take the whole 30 points into inspiration to get the. They also had the vigor when you shatter as well. So opting to get the confusion damage instead. Obviously, it's really good against rangers when they're running short bow, as that confusion damage just stacks up. But Symbolic actually not running the short bow, still going to be pretty good for Zeph and Fanaram.
Moving on now to, trying to see how we pronounce this, Incable, I think is how we're going to say that. We're just going to call him Inke as we take a look at his stuff here. 6 runes of Duena, where he's going to be Mace Focus, and in his offhand, Scepter Shield, Soldier's Amulet, not Cleric's Amulet, running with 0030 2020.
So running a meditation slash bunker build, definitely not a build that I've seen recently. He's running the triple meditations, but opting to take the Signet of Resolve to get that kind of clear and the bigger heal. He is not taking the trait where you do lose conditions, so that's going to help out in that as well. And he is semi-bunker with the 20 points into Honor and Virtues as well.
And now moving on to Yanzane these names. Yanzane Uzumaki. We'll just call him Uzumaki or something like that. 6 runes of Lissa. Sword Dagger, as well as the short bow here, running with Berserker's Amulet, and the traits are going to be 20, or not, sorry, 1030 030.
So an identical build to what we see Zeph running as well.
Ariel, the last member of this team now for Los Corleone. Then we're going to get started, guys. 6 runes of the Forge, Sword Dagger, as well as the short bow with the Carrion Amulet and the traits 10-0, 30-30. So once again, that same pretty usual spirit build that we do see a lot of people running nowadays. Good luck. Have fun.
So
oh, go ahead.
This same exact build that Adrai is running as well. They're not opting to have like a Shaman Ranger as well as a Carrion Ranger. So they're actually going to be able to keep in range as well as move into melee. That shortbow being a fantastic tool for really just applying bleeds from the distance. That double Spirit Ranger is a very strong composition as well. We saw Team Sync win the NA qualifiers with it, as you're able to just put out massive healing, and then you have the utility for the reses through your ultimate as well. Really.
So we're about to get started here, guys. I think one of the members of Los Corleone might have disconnected here. Honest Thief, so we're just waiting for him to rejoin into this, and as soon as we get him back in, we're going to get started. Yeah, should be a pretty interesting matchup. Obviously, Team Curtis having an extremely formidable reputation to go against here. Los Corleone, I don't think I've actually ever seen them play, so we don't really know what to expect coming out of them here. We could see a new favorite. We could see an upset. Who knows?
Yeah, I think I've seen them in some tournament brackets before, but I've never actually watched them in a streamed game. So I believe this is going to be the first time they've been streamed in a tournament. Could be wrong, but I'm looking forward to seeing how they play. They have a really good comp as far as the double Spirit Rangers. It's gonna help them a lot in big, long, drawn-out fights with the heals and the revives. And then also, one thing to know is Mesmer, since they do have the double Spirit Ranger, he has not taken Illusion of Life. So they're not going to have the res through that. Instead, he opted to take Decoy. So going to have that extra stun break as well as step.
And he has finally rejoined it here now. And as we jump into this now, the match is finally getting started here. So this is going to be round 1. Los Corleone will be spawning in the Lion base, going up against Team Curse, spawning in the Dragon base. And here we go. About 10 seconds, and the match is getting started.
And let's open up the map to see where the teams are splitting to.
And as we take a look at that, gates are going to open. Doesn't look like there's going to be any crossplay coming out of here as they all run out of the gates now. Team Kursk, I think, is going to be a little bit faster there because there's not a lot of swiftness that was thrown out there. We do seem to have a pretty big group from Los Corleone forming up here. Meanwhile, Team Kursk over here is going to be sending the Rangers to the mine point. More guys going to run the back. Will they kill the boss? And it looks like they are going to engage that boss. They're going to go for that really early buff rush. And blue team, Los Corleone, will be doing the exact same thing over here at the Chieftain.
It's actually something we don't see too often, is the boss rush right in the beginning, but we have both teams actually pulling that off this time. Ajin gonna be able to get the free cap on keep though, since their Guardian opted to help them with the buff instead of rushing straight towards mid in that 1v1 against the Sheen.
And actually, the question is now, is that going to be worth it? Because of all that time they spent on their Los Corleone actually lost the full cap here at middle, and they're now going to be running into a fight, at which point they're still going to be contributing to a disadvantage in their part because Team Curse already has this point full capped against them.
Yeah, that's definitely going to hurt them out. They should have maybe split off and rushed a little earlier to try and keep it neutral. Guardian, he does do damage, but they probably would have been able to take Swannier fine or Chieftain fine with only 3 people. Curse definitely having that advantage right now. If Sheen, there's a monster, it's staying alive, and Blue's Guardian going down, and Sheen has that stability stomp coming in right there.
And now as we take a look at Zeph just being relentless and chasing his opponent Mesmer, however, the Mesmer did manage to pop a portal and actually make his way out of there, so he is going to fall back to the back point there and may re-engage up at top just to harass a little bit, but it does seem like, for the time being at least, that Curse is going to successfully defend. They did manage to kill Yoni and Uzumaki there very early in the fight. He has returned now, but probably wasn't the best idea considering he's now 4v1 and is probably going to get taken out there as well. So the score currently is going to be 66 points for Los Corleone, and Team Curse has about 115 points with 2 capture points in their favor.
So they were kind of letting Adaraki just bleed off on the side, but a really great response when they saw more people coming in. Zeph actually shadow stepped over to him, DPS'd him down extremely fast to just make sure they weren't able to get that stomp. But that long bleed out will ensure that they're not able to 5v5 for quite some time.
And as with this now, we do have respawns coming out of this from Los Corleone. I think they actually are going to go for the far point this time, if I'm seeing this correctly. We're going to jump on Incable's point of view now as he rushes over to the mine. We do have Symbolic over here, so they are going to need, and actually, no, they're wrapping around here now. Might go for keep again, actually. Does seem like they were going to go for mine, however, I think they changed their mind because they saw Symbolic there. They don't really want to try to take on a Spirit Ranger, with only because the Reinforcers could try and get there quicker, and have now switched up pathing. Going in mid, not really the best formation going in here because Incable is going to take a lot of damage before he even gets to the point, but nonetheless are choosing to go into that pier pretty soon.
And that was actually pretty funny right there. We had Zeph and Teldo just kind of hiding behind near keep, and as soon as Incapable walked up, they both tried to pop out. They were able to do a ton of damage to him. They didn't chase him down to kill him, as they kind of peeled off to fight some squishier targets, but it actually got him extremely low, forced him to pop all his cooldowns.
Indeed, and now as we look at this, it once again is seeming like that Team Curse has a pretty strong grasp on the middle point for the time being. We do only have, I believe, 2 members of Los Corleone here at the moment. I think more are on the way though as we look into this team fight here. Kind of a mess here in the middle as everybody's just trying to toss AoEs. We also had the Spirit. I'm not sure whose Spirit that was. Probably, actually, well, I kind of know whose Spirit that was. That was the blue team Spirit there that was taken out. Unfortunately, they weren't able to utilize that properly and have now lost the bonuses of it being out.
Zappo going down right there as well. Zeph, every time a body goes down, tries to get to it as quick as possible and just tries to do as much damage as possible. Doesn't even go in for the stomp, just making sure he can cleave everybody down.
And as we look at that now, we do have Sula de Zabato currently down at the moment. Incable was trying to get his teammate back in there. Unfortunately, was not able to do so because there's just so much damage coming up from Curse at the moment, and there's really just not a lot they can do about it, unfortunately. Back over here at the Henge, we do have Teldo contesting far point. Unfortunately, he actually lost that against the Spirit Ranger over here from Lobos Portos, and so he is going to go down there, and they're going to get that point back.
And that's kind of one of the disadvantages of running or not running Elixir R. With Elixir R, your 1v1 capability is insanely high, but with the amount of warriors, maybe he was expecting a little more CC, or he's just, you know, messing around with that third utility and opted to take that stun breaker, which definitely weakens you in a lot of 1v1 situations.
And again, both teams at the moment, we do have them going for the bosses over here. As you can see, blue team Los Corleone is going to be the first one to take theirs off, and Curse actually doing something pretty nice here. They're sort of moving to mid because they know there's going to be an incoming rush as they're taking down spawners, so they started walking backwards up there to sort of pull the boss with them, and they were going to take him up there to mid with them anyway, but it doesn't seem like actually Los Corleone chose to go for that. They might actually be going to mine in a second here, and yeah, it looks like they are going to be going for that. They're going to have to take Symbolic down first, and they're also going to have to bank on the fact that Curse doesn't see those coming and move to it, because it just seems like they're really having issues with the team fights at the moment when they do get engaged in larger skirmishes.
Yep, Teldo and Fanaram running extremely quick, trying to get there. Zeph tagging along right behind them. Symbolic should be able to stay alive long enough to get some backup right here.
And as we jump into this mine fight here, we do have Curse Symbolic currently trying to hold on there. However, he is taking a crap load of the damage right now as the blue members go on him, trying to damage him down as quickly as possible. Los Corleone throwing out everything they've got on him at the moment. Unfortunately, now as we see, blue team members are dropping. Yodame has gone down here now. They're trying to get off, and oh my goodness, look at those conditions on the blue team. Just absolutely going to melt them here in a few seconds, as you just saw. Incaibly's now down. Adrikai, with the additional burst that was coming in from the rest of Curse, took him down. Suela de Zapato as well. Look at those conditions. 11 stacks of bleeds, burns, poisons, and I think a few confusion stacks were on him as well. Just absolutely destroyed that team there in seconds.
You had Fanaram and Teldo up there on the rafters. Teldo spamming his grenades. Fanaram throwing an epidemic, spreading those conditions, doing as much damage as possible. Ashin actually left mid to come and help that fight. And while that was going on, Teldo actually decided to double back, make sure that their ranger was not going to push on to keep and get that back cap on them. Just really, really good communication on their part. You could see just the team rotations working. You could tell why and when they're moving. Just goes to show how long and how well it's been for Curse to be playing together for such a long time.
And back over here at the henge point, we did actually have to note that Teldo did actually switch out to Elixir R, I think, later in the match, before that match began, after we went over his build there, so he did switch that on. Obviously, he was going to use that to his advantage, but now Team Curse, guys, has taken the first round here, 502 points to 226 points in favor of Team Curse. Los Corleone is currently down, but they still have one more chance to come back.
Yeah, definitely try maybe and push the side points this game. That's probably my favorite strategy for trying to catch up, because Ashin, one of the best guardians, if not the best guardian in the game, is such an unkillable monster that trying to decap a point from him is always going to be really, really hard. And Ashin's favorite strategy, almost every time you watch them play, is just to get in the midpoint and hold it for as long as possible.
Indeed, and we're now going to move into the legacy of the Faux Fire as we jump back in. Sean, I know we've done it already, but for those of you who have just joined us, as I do realize we are now on the front page of ESL.tv, so hello to those of you that are joining us from there and that are newer to Guild Wars 2. We're going to jump in, we're going to explain the game type and the maps to you really quick while we're between games here. So taking a look at the map itself, what do we got here, Sean?
So this is Legacy of Faux Fire, the biggest map in Guild Wars 2 PvP. It features 3 capture points, with the graveyard capture point in the middle being the biggest conquest capture point in all of Guild Wars. You also have the side points of Waterfall and Quarry. Now, besides those points, the secondary objective of the map is the Guild Lord. Within each team's base, you have a monstrous Guild Lord surrounded by 2 melee fighters and 2 support casters. If you're able to take down the gates by DPSing them down, focusing your way up to the Guild Lord and taking him out, it's going to award your team 150 points to push you closer to that 500 point win limit. Now, it's not necessary to do, but 150 points definitely can help your team win, especially if you're already past the 350 threshold. You're going to instantly win the game with a Lord kill.
And as we saw last game too, it can also work against you, because if you push it at the wrong time, you're only going to leave your own Lord open, and if the enemy team is farther ahead than you, if they can push it better than you, then they are going to take it away, and it can work against you as well. So you have to choose the correct time to push Lord, in addition to getting the initial score you actually need to do so in the first place.
And not even just leaving your Lord open, but leaving your points open. When you make an effort to push Lord, and usually you'll see 3 or more people towards Lord, that means you're leaving points undefended. So they can push your Lord, they can push your points. You really got to be careful.
Indeed, and we are just waiting right now. We have given them the go-ahead. As we just wait on this, now we're going to get everything ready, and this will be round 2. Los Corleone, once again, will be spawning over here in the Ascalonian side, going up against, once more, Team Curse spawning in the Char base. The red team, obviously, and the blue teams. And as soon as everyone readies up, we will get started, guys.
And we're really used to seeing Team Paradigm Team Curse pull up some awesome openers on this. They have a lot of stealth options coming out between the Shadow Refuge on Zeph as well as the Smoke Bomb on Teldo. So we might see like a far push on the map, which is very common for Team Curse. So definitely gonna want to keep our eye on Team Curse towards the Waterfall this game.
Indeed, we're just waiting for it. Seems like Inkably, the Guardian from Blue Team. Obviously, they're going to be changing it. They're going to be trying to think of how they might maybe change up their strategy for this map. Because honestly, the one last map didn't go too well there. So might be trying to think about how they can better suit themselves this time. Sean, what do you think? I think we actually already went over this already, but just let's go over it once again. What do you think we could see Blue Team doing on this map specifically to possibly better themselves?
Definitely their opener. If they're able to rush Quarry right at the beginning, get a nice Shadow Refuge opening and take that, that's definitely going to help them near the beginning. Openers is just such a important part of Foe Fire when you're able to get a grasp on some points and hold them in these long drawn out battles. They really, really help.
And as we open up our map, here comes the split, ladies and gentlemen. Team Curse looks like they're going to be sending their Ranger over to the quarry point. The rest are actually possibly grouping up for a Shadow Refuge to head into Waterfall in just a few moments, as we see that as well. Los Corleone going to be sending 3 members to Graveyard. Once again, we're going to see a Sheen come over some heavy pressure here. But as well, over at the Waterfall, Los Corleone will be the ones under pressure. And I think Suela de Zapatos got caught off guard there now, and he might get destroyed there. Managed to get away from that somehow. Pops the portal and gets himself out of there. Not for long, though, as other members of Team Curse are close by, but the question is he going to rejoin the fight? And he actually is now. Unfortunately, Phantom will harass him still, and we'll be taking him down. Back at the Graveyard point, we have that going as well. The Sheen still holding off pretty nicely here. I think he might be able to actually hold on for the full duration of this until his teammates can come to assist him over there, but they're doing pretty good so far. They obviously have taken their close point as well, so it obviously, once again, looking up for Team Curse here.
Swallow definitely did get melted right there in the beginning, but that was a really good preemptive portal from him. He kind of had expectation that was going to happen, so he had that portal ready. He was able to get back and survive, but unfortunately that 3v2 was a little too much for them. That was actually a really good smoke bomb right there, saving Zeph's Shadow Refuge. Didn't need to use it. Timing those blast finishers together, definitely a sign of being a great team.
And Yodame is going to go down here as well once more, giving Team Curse the advantage over here. Looks like they're going to position Symbolic possibly on that far point. Obviously going to be a good choice there because the spirits are going to make him extremely tanky in the build itself as well, just how it's composed. He is going to make him an extremely tanky beast. Keeping Teldo as well over here on the far point of his enemies. Is going to be taking on 1v1 here in just a second against a Spirit Ranger, which might be his counter, so might come running into some trouble here coming up against this.
So having that 3 cap right there, they should be getting Graveyard any second. Those points are just raining in 88-0, 91-0 now, and they do have that triple cap.
Indeed they do. And as we look at this now, Teldo is actually under a lot of pressure as all of a sudden, out of the blue, another member of Los Corleone showed up. Teldo actually sort of preemptively threw down his Elixir Arthur, so he is not going to get the full benefit of that here. And as well, Los Corleone seems to be delaying the kill on him now, as they also have to deal with both Zep and Phanram as well, who have come to this point. Teldo popping that bomb kick, going to completely turn this fight around. Suela de Zapato could not even handle that now, as he has gone down. In addition to the Ranger on this point, has been taking out Aerials here, but again, standing in that AoE is only going to prove to take him down even more. We had the Spirit go down, didn't actually manage to get the active off in time before he went down, so again, it looks like Curse will be holding on to this and taking this game in just a moment.
Yeah, we're going to see if they're going to try and push in this 2v5 right here, or if they're going to kind of wait and regroup with their team. It looks like they want to fight, they want to keep that pressure up, but pushing into such a large disadvantage is definitely going to prove fatal.
Indeed, and as we see this now, we do have Curse Sheen currently holding off along with Steldo and Zeph against 3 other members of Los Corleone. And we look at this now, Inkably absolutely getting bombed by conditions here, cannot handle that. He gets absolutely destroyed again, and Yomane as well, being a victim to the AoE of Team Curse, will get knocked out, only allowing them to hold on to this 3 cap for that much longer.
And Zeph gonna push towards the gate. It's one thing Team Paradigm really likes to do on this map is take out the Lord. So we might be able to see that if they're able to keep pushing this, if Blue Team is not able to group up together, we might see that 649-0 this game. Team Curse is doing a really great job in map control.
It was looking appetizing to them there as they almost went into this now, and Zeph as well. As you take a look at Adraki's point of view, trying to take it down here. Adraki screaming, "I want a point" in the map chat here as he tries, as they're desperately trying to get one. But seemingly it just seems like they can here now. As we look on to middle fight once more, it seems they're going to put some effort onto this. Suela de Zapato, very ballsy really in engaging here. It's such a low health. He will go down as well, and Teldo throwing down the bomb kits and more. Not really going to go for the stomp off the bat, but looks like he's going to try to throw some damage on the body to try and get it down that much quicker.
Yep, and Blue Team looking a little disorganized, having all the problems in the fight. We see them splitting up and trying to fight these smaller skirmishes when they're always outnumbered, not going too great for them. They really need to group up and maybe try and push towards Quarry as a team. They do have utilities like Shadow Refuge to make plays like that.
And indeed, just to note something here, we do have Team Paradigm in range of a Lord Rush, but as we've seen these recaps happen a few times today, actually, including the Chinese tournament too earlier that we had, I don't think, like you have explained earlier too, I think Curse is in a pretty safe position, so unfortunately, I do not think we will see a Lord play. I don't know if you can agree with that or not.
Yeah, it's just the only reason I brought it up is that that's actually something they've done before. During the Invitational, one of their games, they actually rushed towards the Lord when they were winning a 3-cap game and ended 649-0. So yeah, it's just something that wouldn't surprise me.
And I think they're going to do it. They kind of snuck up into that corner of the map there. We almost didn't see them. But Phantom and Zeph are now on the Blue Lord as they're only about 50 points away. A member of the blue team, more members of the blue team are actually coming in here now to defend it. And actually just really holding off, not really engaging the Lord, as we'll jump on to Zeph's point of view to watch this fight though. He's on it now, but here comes like everyone else from the blue team here in just a second. 3 members are on it. Lord below 50% health. They need to remember because he's going to try to heal in a second. I think they actually just got the interrupt off on it with that fear. Lord below 50%, 40%, 30% here, dropping like a fly. But Zeph coming under pressure now as well as blue members try to take him down. Both of these Team Paradigm members are getting low, but they're not even going to get the kill as the 3-cap has managed to tick away. And Team Curse will take round 2 as well, moving them farther into the winner's bracket and knocking Los Corleone down into the loser's bracket.
Great game by Team Curse. They're really showing their map awareness, using the first game to kind of test the waters, not trying to overextend, and using the second game once they knew what they were up against to really assert their dominance.
And indeed, that is going to be the end of that set. Very good teams indeed. Team Curse obviously showing their reputation precedes them there, winning that 2-0. Los Corleone, unfortunately, were not able to come up against Team Curse. Obviously, once again, Team Curse, one of the strongest teams there, and they will be dropping down to the loser's bracket, where they will still have one more chance to fight coming up in the next few days. But guys, I think that is actually going to be